You know, a lot of people in this generation, they start to overcomplicate life, and this is one of the major things that makes people so miserable. So miserable. It's like they build up these grand expectations. I'm gonna have to do this, and then after that I have to do this again, and then, constantly chasing the next thing rather than being who you actually are and embracing who you actually are. Okay? So it's important for you to start to understand that to avoid this kind of misery, you have to face the things that you're running from, okay? Whether it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of sitting in complete silence or meditation, do that for yourself. Because what is that? That is your brain processing, okay? It's your mind giving you more space, more limits. It's like more real estate, right? Real estate in the mind. So you're buying land by meditating, you get it? It's not just this spiritual woo-woo religious thing that people do. It literally creates new neural pathways and more space in your brain to optimize things, to integrate things, to learn better, to have more creativity. And, a great example by David Lynch, right, when he's describing transcendental meditation, saying a donut, it tastes pretty good, right? A donut tastes pretty good. But those people who have never tried a donut, they cannot experience that same level of taste, and they can't even describe it, right? Because it's a new experience, it's a new feeling. So we crave novelty as a flow state trigger, right? A lot of times. So we could take an old routine and make it seem new. We could take something else and completely remix it, right? I was just having this conversation a little while ago about, this whole concept of the AI art and how they're taking other artworks and merging it. It's almost like remixing or sampling, other artworks in a sense. And I think the world is slowly moving more towards a place where this sampling is happening, where we won't have an original thought anymore, right? It's like everything is already in the algorithmic soup in a sense. And so how are these AI machines able to, take all this grand bunch of data and then pull out maybe a story or a myth or a Tinder profile or all of these? There's different options, right, of what this new technology can do. Now, I wanted to speak primarily about my ideas around Neuralink and why there might be certain dangers and there might be certain things that might go wrong with this kind of technology. First of all, a lot of people are afraid of the mind control. I get that, okay? Already, from the vaccination scares and stuff like that. I mean, people already had that idea, right? And in the back of the mind, there's something weird going on, right? But now, with this whole Neuralink thing, there's new avenues that come up, because it's the whole idea of the nootropic and the bionic man, right, or the bionic woman, to understand that we're going to slightly merge with technology. Now, do you want to put a little microchip in your brain, which is it seems like a seamless procedure, right? It's not going to hurt you or whatever. But then again, I think it's good to experiment with it when people have nearly fatal or almost impossibly curable disorders, right? Things that have no cure yet. Things that, that the inner body can't really operate with using normal neuroscience and something like this. So for those people, I think Neuralink might be an option. But if you're just trying to, let's just say, that they're saying that we can communicate with each other's minds telepathically using Neuralink, right? That's what Elon is proposing. But start to understand that you can actually do that normally without you actually trying to get this weird device in your head, okay? You have a sixth sense, you have extrasensory perception. It's just the world has convinced you otherwise, right? The collective consciousness doesn't believe in this stuff. And so there's something in the background of culture kind of perpetuating you and what you've got to think and how you've got to feel and what you've got to do and what you've got to wear and how you've got to speak, okay? All of these rules, all of these over complications, like I mentioned, is what is making you miserable, okay? Like, I went into my closet today. Today's like day 2 of my cousin's sister's wedding. Shout out. Okay, she has a hashtag called #swoonworthy, spelt with an OU instead of an O, which is a very intelligent idea because now it's very specific to them. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's a hashtag which can now be found, which is kind of cool. But in any case, what was I talking about, man? Oh yeah, so my ideas of a Neuralink, right? So messing with your neurotransmitters is already not a good idea, okay? Messing with it and, but what if it short circuits? There are always these dangers and concerns that we've got to be a little bit cautious about before rushing into a new technology. So there's always going to be skepticism. In terms of the peak performance field, if it can make you more, advanced or powerful, like jump higher or start hovering, or we don't know yet. We don't know the advent of this technology. For right now, it's just probably controlling your neurotransmitters, controlling your dopamine, your serotonin, your, how much. So you can probably use it to get very fucked up or high, right? As well, in a sense, where, again, that's another option with this kind of new avenue of technology. But I support the natural way and the way of the Tao of what nature has for us, okay? I think that's the best way for us to thrive and the best way for us to actually, move forward in the world and cause some kind of ripple effect or impact. Because otherwise, we're just going to be subjected to whatever is the norm in that specific situation, right? So I think that trusting in our own true nature, trusting in the natural laws is what the shamans did, right? The shamans, they don't waste any part of the animal, okay? Start to understand this. I was realizing this as we in a Bengali culture, we eat the fish heads, right? And I always wondered, then I see something very shamanic about that. All Asian cultures do this actually, right? They don't waste the food. They use the different parts of the animal. And now I started to understand that more in terms of how we have to use all aspects of ourselves, right? Like your brain is a pharmacy. It can create these neurotransmitters based on your thoughts and your thinking. If you've ever heard of epigenetics and Bruce Lipton's work, you understand that the power of the thoughts and thinking can actually, or belief systems, can actually change your cells. Okay? Now, this is, of course, not new. We knew this, or the sages knew this for a very long time, right? That we can actually optimize our breath, our human bodies, the way we think, the way we imagine things, how we walk, how we talk, just the general things of how to optimize your human life. It can bring you a lot of gold. It can bring you a lot of treasures if you simplify, simplify, simplify. Make things simple for you. Don't make it simple for in general. Because what is simple to you might not be simple. Let's say you're really bad at math, okay? Am I gonna tell you to do mental math every day? No. What are you good at? How can you optimize and make your life easier for you? Okay? Maybe you're really good at art. Why aren't you practicing art? Okay? Oh, my parents don't want me to. Oh, I have this other thing. Oh, I can't do it. I don't have time. Oh, I would. All these excuses now come up for you, right? Whereas you need to step up and just be like, yo, I'm an artist. And an artist makes art. Yo, I'm a writer. And a writer makes writing, okay? A writer writes. Yo, I'm a coder. And a coder codes, okay? We're all coders, right? In a sense of this reality matrix simulation that we're all living in and we're all a part of. We're getting trapped by all the automatons that are blocking all of our serotonin reserves through the Neuralink device, and then we can't operate anymore. Okay, let's not get into conspiracy theory land with this shit. Let's actually be realistic about this. Because, and again, I know this will be like in the future, I'll probably make a video and I'll be like, well, yeah, I mentioned it back then, and then, you know, whatever I said then I don't agree with, or I'll change my ideas. But that's fine, right? That's valid. But at the same time, like, this is what I truly feel about this, is that it is extremely, extremely dangerous to tamper with our own brains. Because our brains create our reality. Now, if we're trying to manipulate our brain cells and neurochemistry, it can be very, very dangerous. Okay? Very, very dangerous. We don't need to use these devices as technological cop-outs, is what I call it. It's a technological scapegoat. Okay, I'll give you a bionic arm, okay? And in return, you know, you won't have energies every Saturday and every Wednesday. Do you want a bionic arm? It's like, what is the sacrifice, right, that you're putting into this system of reciprocity that you're getting from the universe? Like, you're giving stuff and you're getting stuff back, right? So really start to understand that it is within your power right now to simplify your life and not live in this misery. It is up to you to wake up and have more clarity by not confusing yourself. How do you confuse yourself? With your senses. With your eyes, you look around the environment in a new place. That makes you more confused. With your body language, you shift around, or you twitch, or you have these little glitches of the system, right? Where you sort of have these like different twitches or different actions or things that you do and behave, right? That's making you more confused. What about your touch? Well, let's say you're trying to find your keys through the dark. You have to rely upon your keen sense of touch. But what if you're so desensitized to your own touch that you can't feel around anymore? You get what I'm saying? Like, this is causing more overcomplications because you're not embodied and you can't touch. You don't feel anything or your fingers anymore from burning out the system, right? Sensory overload, as I mentioned in a couple of videos ago. So this digital overwhelm of information, this information overload that's going to happen in the future, you've got to remain simple with it. You can't let it get too bizarre, okay? Because otherwise, you're floating around in a cloud of nothingness. This is all soup. This is all play stuff, right? For all of us. Whoa, let's check that. That's a pretty cool sight. How all the birds just like scattered from that rooftop. It's kind of like a Batman or a Crow Man in a sense. Crow Man. Crow Man. Okay. Crow Man. I think there is probably a Crow Man out there. Okay, there's got to be, you know, especially in Kolkata. Let's get it. So, my idea is, if a piece of technology is adding much more benefit or more mindfulness or more conscious thinking or more ability for us to, you know, enhance our life and make it better, and there's very less downsides, like there's very, like, you know, the cons are like 2 cons or something like that, you know, as opposed to, you know, a trillion pros. That might be something to consider. But for right now, I don't think so. Okay? At this point of time, 2023, January, not right now. We're not ready for this information. We're not ready for this technology. A lot of people are chipping their dogs and things like that nowadays. I mean, really start to understand the impact that something like that can have, right, on a person. Like, and also, like, all your data being tracked, everything, like, you know, the privacy is another concern for a lot of people, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like, you've got to really, really embrace and understand what is it that is protecting you. I know I'm protected by these deities, by the other realm, by the other side. I know that. I feel that every single millisecond. I know. I know that whenever I overcomplicate things or I cause problems, I'm in an information overload. There's too many things happening at once. Whereas you just need to focus on certain main fundamental principle things that will make your life so much simpler, easier, smoother, effortless, okay, more enjoyable. That's what you want to get to, man. That's what is truly going to help you. That is what is going to bring you to the next level. If you want to level up 2023, shoot me a message. Shoot me a message immediately and get working with me one-on-one, okay? We'll get on a phone call or a Zoom call and let's talk and make sure that you're a right fit for what I'm offering, which is my program, either Flomo Sapien, the Primal Sutra Protocol, or we can create a program just for you. If you can't afford, a lot of my high ticket stuff, let's have a conversation. I can design a program specifically for you. Now, again, this is only going for these next 2 months, probably I'm gonna be doing this, okay? So reach out, let me see what you can afford. Let me see what you're about, what you're doing. What is your sense of reality? How are you leading your days? What are you doing, right? What are you creating? Let's get to know each other, a little bit before you decide and from impulse buy, you're you watch a video and you're just should I press the buy now button or not? I mean this guy speaks good. Maybe should I buy his book? Bro, calmate, okay, calmate. Let's just have a conversation first, okay? And from there, join all the Telegram groups, all the free stuff that's out there, again, this is free stuff, right? I'm just giving of my time and energy. But in any case, guys, the main message of this video is stop overcomplicating everything. Overthinking comes from a lot of underthinking. You're thinking of the same problem, this broken record situation that keeps coming up again and again. You haven't solved the problem yet. You get what I'm saying? So if you're complaining all the time without a solution, you're not optimal. If you're oh man, this is so bad, I can't believe that this is happening to me right now, and you're criticizing yourself and you're criticizing others, you're in a low vibration. How do you raise your vibration? You get around nature. You start meditating. You start going out into the sun instead of indoors all the time. Okay, you start taking care of your health, exercising. You start making money and improving people's lives and being of service, right? You start doing these very basic fundamental things, right? And you don't have to conclude this is the thing that I must do, but then I also have 1,100 other things that I need to do today. Focus on max 4 things a day, man. Don't stop putting yourself into these different situations where your consciousness now has to force itself to act, right? Stop putting yourself into way too many situations like that, where your brain is being pushed to squeeze something out. Instead, give the brain space. Like I said, when you meditate, you give it space. Now it has room to roam free, right? Now it has new areas where it can actually roam free, okay? So that was my main transmission, downloads that I had today as I'm on this rooftop. I hope this resonated, Go to primalsutra.com, get a 15-minute free call with myself and Ryan G. And let's get on this protocol, man. Yeah. Let's grow. Upward spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Us. Talk soon, guys. Lift off. It's lift off time. Lift off season, baby. Woo! Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Let's go. Us.